Van Richten's Guide to Ghosts was released in 1992 and written by William Connors, with interior art by Robert Klanchik and Stephen Fabian, and a cover by Robin Wood. It is the second in the series of Van Richten guides and clocks in at 96 pages. And I believe this will be William Connors' first solo project where he did on his own. He's a name you need to watch forward in the future for RAVENLOFT products. He's personally one of my favorite writers of RAVENLOFT material, and I honestly consider him to be one of the best. So any product with his name on it, you know you're going to get some good quality out of it. The guide is written in the same format as Vampires, except it's written better, technically. The guide starts out with Van Richten recounting his first experience with ghosts and how he got into hunting them. This guide is peppered with several ghost stories from Van Richten and others, and they are all very entertaining. There are 6 chapters in the guide, and they are written like they were in Vampires. Van Richten is writing the guide for you in character, as all the VR guides will be. And at the end of the chapter is the information for the DM, which players are not supposed to read, again in a separate type of text box. So you just have to trust your players not to read them, but they can certainly read this guide and have this guide with them. Again, like Vampires, this guide successfully attempts to make every ghost a unique creature, while sharing some of the same basic powers. Where the vampires' strength were derived from their age, ghosts are now given a magnitude. Magnitude is determined by the cause of death and a few other things, but that determines how strong they are, their magnitude. First magnitude is the weakest, while 5th magnitude is the strongest. Van Richten's Guide to Ghosts tells you anything you could want to know about ghosts, including a lot of new mechanics for them and such. It also deals with investigating a haunting and mediums. In fact, it devotes an entire chapter to mediums, and it's basically implying that mediums will soon become a character class in RAVENLOFT, which they end up being a character class in RAVENLOFT. But here it just tells you how they get their powers, how their powers are used. Beware of false mediums. Some are just in it for the scam, so you have to look out for them. My only real complaint is that it doesn't address the other incorporeal undead. Specters, haunts, poltergeists, wraiths, and others are left out. Now I would have loved a chapter devoted to them, but I think the goal of the book, and I believe I read somewhere, the goal of the book was to kind of lump them all into one. And kind of make them the same as ghosts. Because here in the book, a ghost doesn't have a certain set of powers. Depending on its magnitude and various other things, a ghost, in theory, could have the power of a wraith and drain energy instead of aging people like it says in the monster manual. And it can possess people like a haunt would, and it can move objects like a poltergeist and such would. So I do think the goal of this guide was to kind of lump all the incorporeal undead together and kind of make them as one. However, it never really is clear on that. It never really says that's what it's trying to do. And of course, if you just go to a future product and you see Wraith in there, it'll have the monster manual stats of the Wraith. I guess this would be more for DMs who want to create their own types of ghosts, but let's say they don't like ghosts and they want to make it a Wraith or a poltergeist or something like that. You could do that. Ghost is my least favorite of the Van Richten guides, but that's more of a personal preference, as I find Ghost to be the least interesting subject that the Van Richten guides would end up covering. However, I do recommend this as a buy. It's written better than Vampires, and if you like Ghosts, well then this guide is for you. If you don't, I'm sure you'll find the information within valuable whether you are a player or a dungeon master. Either way, it's a win-win, and it is a recommend. Beware the darkness, for it is alive with the dead. Now the nights of RAVENLOFT are more horrifying than ever. You'll find out why in the pages within. Follow Dr. Rudolph Van Richten Ravenloft's leading authority on the supernatural, as he reveals how to hunt the ghosts that lurk in the blackest shadows of midnight. For countless years, Van Richten has traveled the misty roads of Ravenloft on a mission to destroy the undead wherever they might be. Now your characters can join him on his courageous quest. Dr. Van Richten tells all that he has discovered about the incorporeal undead. He explains their origins, the passions that draw them back from beyond the grave, and the horrible powers bestowed upon them in unlife. In addition, he offers his wise counsel on the ways in which these fiends can be stalked, confronted, and destroyed. Be careful, for these ghosts are not simple, moaning spirits of darkest night. They are the ghosts of Ravenloft.